Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Confidence is often seen as the key to success, but what happens when life throws challenges our way? When adversity strikes, it can feel like our confidence is shaken to its core. Yet it is in these moments of struggle and uncertainty that true confidence is built, not the kind that comes from avoiding challenges, but the kind that grows from facing them head-on. Simon Sinek once said, "The only way to develop confidence is to try things you've never done before, to take risks, and to fail sometimes." Adversity isn't here to diminish us. It's here to shape us, to teach us resilience, and to help us uncover strengths we never knew we had. Here's the expanded version of Keynote 1. Adversity doesn't define us. How we respond to it does. Confidence is built in the moments we choose to face challenges instead of retreating from them. It's in those moments when life tests us, when circumstances feel overwhelming and the weight of our problems seems unbearable, that we have the opportunity to grow. Adversity has a way of revealing what lies beneath the surface. It strips away the superficial layers and forces us to confront who we really are. It is in these moments that our resilience and courage are tested. When faced with adversity, the natural instinct for many is to retreat, to seek comfort, and to avoid the pain and uncertainty that challenges bring. This is a deeply human response. However, retreating often prevents us from discovering the strength we hold within. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from stepping into them, even when the odds are against us. It's about recognizing that discomfort is part of the process and embracing it as an opportunity to grow. Every challenge we face has the potential to teach us something valuable about ourselves. Adversity pushes us to our limits, but it also expands those limits. It shows us that we are capable of more than we ever thought possible. The process of confronting and overcoming challenges builds a sense of self-assurance that no external validation can provide. This is the kind of confidence that lasts, a confidence rooted in our own experiences and growth. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most confident. Chances are, those moments didn't come from times of ease and comfort. They came from times when you were tested, when you faced obstacles and came out on the other side stronger. Perhaps it was a difficult project at work, a personal loss, or a situation where you had to stand up for yourself or someone else. These moments of adversity were the crucibles in which your confidence was forged. When we face adversity head-on, we begin to trust in our ability to handle life's uncertainties. This trust is the foundation of confidence. It's not about knowing that everything will go perfectly. It's about believing in our ability to adapt and find solutions, no matter what challenges arise. This belief comes from experience, and experience comes from action. Each time we face a challenge and take action, even if we don't succeed in the way we hoped, we build confidence. Adversity also teaches us about our values and priorities. When we're in the midst of a challenge, we're forced to make decisions about what truly matters to us. These decisions clarify who we are and what we stand for, which in turn strengthens our sense of self. This clarity is another important component of confidence. When we know who we are and what we stand for, we're less likely to be shaken by external circumstances. Moreover, facing adversity helps us develop empathy and perspective. When we overcome challenges, we gain a deeper understanding of what it means to struggle. This understanding not only makes us more compassionate toward others, but also gives us the perspective to appreciate our own growth. Confidence isn't just about believing in ourselves. It's also about recognizing the shared human experience of struggle and triumph. It's important to remember that adversity doesn't always have to be grand or dramatic to build confidence. Sometimes it's the small, everyday challenges that shape us the most. Whether it's having a difficult conversation, trying something new, or persisting through a tough day, each act of courage adds to our reservoir of confidence. The key is to approach these moments with intention and to see them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to be avoided. One of the most powerful aspects of adversity is its ability to reveal our strengths. Often we don't realize how strong we are until we're put to the test. Adversity has a way of showing us what we're truly capable of. It pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us to tap into resources we didn't know we had. This discovery is incredibly empowering. Once we've seen what we're capable of, we carry that knowledge with us into future challenges. Confidence also comes from the realization that failure is not the end. When we face adversity, we often encounter setbacks and failures along the way. These moments can be discouraging, but they're also opportunities to learn and grow. Each failure teaches us something valuable, whether it's a new skill, a different perspective, or a better understanding of ourselves. Over time, these lessons accumulate and contribute to our confidence. We begin to see failure not as something to fear, but as a natural part of the process. Another important aspect of building confidence through adversity is the support we receive from others. Challenges often bring people together, creating opportunities for connection and collaboration. When we face adversity with the support of others, we're reminded that we're not alone. This sense of connection can be a powerful source of confidence. It reinforces the idea that we can rely on others when needed and that others can rely on us. Adversity also helps us develop a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset is essential for building confidence because it shifts our focus from fixed outcomes to the process of growth. When we approach challenges with a growth mindset, we see them as opportunities to improve rather than threats to our self-worth. This perspective allows us to take risks, embrace failure, and keep moving forward, all of which contribute to our confidence. Ultimately, the confidence we gain from facing adversity is not about becoming invincible or fearless. It's about developing a deep sense of trust in ourselves and our ability to navigate life's challenges. This trust is built through action, reflection, and perseverance. Each time we face a challenge and come out on the other side, we add another layer to our foundation of confidence. Over time, this foundation becomes unshakable. Here's the expanded version of Keynote 2. True confidence isn't the absence of fear, but the belief that we can overcome it, no matter how daunting the circumstances. Fear is a natural part of being human. It arises when we face the unknown, when we encounter challenges that push us beyond our comfort zones, or when we confront situations that could result in failure or loss. The presence of fear doesn't mean we're weak. It means we're alive. What separates those who build confidence from those who remain paralyzed is how they respond to that fear. Confidence isn't about pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging fear, understanding it, and choosing to move forward despite it. When we recognize fear as a signal rather than a barrier, it changes how we view challenges. Fear signals that something matters to us, that we are stepping into territory that has the potential to stretch us, teach us, and transform us. Confidence grows when we learn to lean into that fear, to see it as an opportunity rather than a threat. Every act of courage begins with fear. It is in those moments of uncertainty, doubt, and apprehension that we find the greatest opportunities to grow. Confidence is not built by avoiding these moments. It is built by embracing them. Each time we confront a fear, no matter how small or large, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of facing what scares us. Over time, these small acts of courage accumulate, creating a foundation of confidence that carries us through even the most challenging situations. The belief that we can overcome fear doesn't mean we always have to do it alone. Confidence is also about knowing when to seek support, guidance, or encouragement from others. Fear often isolates us, making us feel as though we are the only ones struggling. But when we reach out and share our fears, we realize that we are not alone. This connection with others reminds us that fear is universal, and overcoming it is something we can do together. One of the most important lessons about confidence is that it is not static. It is a skill that can be developed and strengthened over time. This means that even if fear feels overwhelming in the moment, it doesn't have to define us forever. Confidence comes from taking small steps forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. Each step reinforces the belief that we can handle challenges, no matter how uncertain or difficult they may seem. Fear often tricks us into believing that we need to have all the answers before we take action. It tells us that we need to be perfect, prepared, and certain before we move forward. But true confidence comes from understanding that we don't need to have everything figured out. It's about trusting ourselves to adapt, learn, and grow along the way. This trust is what allows us to take risks and face challenges, even when the outcome is uncertain. Confidence is also deeply rooted in resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going even when things don't go as planned. Fear often tells us that failure is final, that a mistake or misstep means we're not good enough. But confidence reminds us that failure is just a part of the process. Each failure is an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to try again. Over time, these experiences of resilience build a deep inner strength that fear cannot shake. It's important to understand that confidence doesn't mean we won't feel fear. In fact, fear often coexists with confidence. The difference is in how we interpret and respond to that fear. The confidence allows us to see fear as a natural part of growth, rather than as something to avoid or suppress. It reminds us that fear doesn't have to control us, that we have the power to choose our actions regardless of how we feel. Fear often thrives in the absence of clarity. When we don't understand what we're facing, our minds tend to fill in the gaps with worst-case scenarios. Confidence helps us counteract this tendency by focusing on what we can control and breaking challenges into manageable steps. By taking action, even in small ways, we reduce the power of fear and build momentum toward overcoming it. Each step forward reinforces the belief that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. Another key aspect of confidence is self-compassion. Fear often amplifies our self-doubt, making us question our abilities and worth. Confidence grows when we treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially in moments of fear and uncertainty. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our fears without judgment, to see them as part of the human experience rather than as personal failures. This perspective helps us build a stronger, more supportive relationship with ourselves, which is essential for facing challenges with confidence. Confidence is also about perspective. Fear tends to narrow our focus, making challenges seem bigger and more insurmountable than they actually are. Confidence helps us zoom out, to see the bigger picture and recognize that challenges are just one part of our journey. It reminds us that we have faced difficulties before and that we have the strength and resources to face them again. This broader perspective helps us approach challenges with a sense of possibility rather than defeat. Ultimately, confidence is about action. Fear tries to keep us stagnant, to convince us that we're not ready or capable. Confidence is the belief that we can take the next step, no matter how small, and that each step will bring us closer to where we want to be. It's not about eliminating fear, but about choosing to move forward despite it. This is what allows us to grow, to achieve, and to thrive in the face of challenges.